The boundary is symbolic, spat High Strategist Kval of the Draxan Dominion. No species respects dead zones anymore. Especially not when it's drawn by primitives, sneered Counselor Vale. Earth's claim to a defense. Perimeter is a joke. Laughter rippled through the Galactic Council chamber. Ancient banners flickered above, the air thick with superiority and incense. They had declared the meeting formal, but the tone was anything but serious. They haven't even shown themselves in 70 years, added Grand Admiral Zorik. No trade, no patrols, no embassies. They think silence is power. He leaned forward, but silence only matters if someone's listening. Counselor Jin tapped her claw against a glowing star map hovering above the table. This is human. Space as they define it, 200 light-years across. Unpatrolled, unmonitored, empty. Except it's not, said someone quietly. The laughter died too quickly. All heads turned toward the observer from the Ricari Enclave, a small, quiet species known for their deep-range sensors and historical memory. Speak clearly, Zorik. Sighed, his voice clipped. The Ricari's neck gills flared. We lost 3 ships in that space this cycle alone, mining vessels. No distress calls, no debris recovered. A hazard zone, Vale dismissed. There are wormholes. Gravity shears. And yet, the Ricari said softly, their names stopped being remembered by the registry A's, as if something scrubbed them from memory. That silenced the room, not because they believed it, but because they'd heard it before. 3 years ago, the Varan sent a scout squad into Terran space to test response time. None returned. 5 years before that, a diplomat ship from the Torquathy entered without permission. Their world received only one message in reply. You are no longer invited. And their entire government lost system access for a week. They had to reboot civilization from handwritten backup. Still, the Council had told itself it was all coincidence, exaggeration, old fear lingering like fog on data. Zorik cleared his throat. Enough myth. Send a reconnaissance ship. Jin frowned. To enter human space? Yes. Under whose flag? Zorik grinned. Mine. The chamber murmured. You're provoking them, Vale warned. They're already provoking us, Zorik snapped. They drew a line around a quadrant of the galaxy and said, no one enters. That's not defense. That's a dare. And still, no one clapped. Zorik slammed his fist. We cannot let silence become sovereignty. Kval nodded. Then send the probe. They all agreed, quietly. Carefully and deep in the command chamber above the council hall, they launched a P. Scout Drone Empire Mark IV. Faster than light capable. Cloaked. Armed with the best telemetry and burst recall. Systems in the quadrant. Its mission. Cross into human space, ping the empty void, and return. 5 hours in, Zorik said. 5 hours out. Enough to embarrass. The Mythmakers. The probe launch had cleared neutral space. Had entered the border. Everyone waited. Hour 1. Silence. Hour 2. System check. Hour 3. Telemetry spike. Hour 4. Static. Hour 5. A signal. Not from the drone. From everything. Every star map in the Empire lit up with a new symbol. No fanfare. No distortion. Just a red circle blinking in unison, overlaying Terran territory, and a message embedded in every command core, system feed, and transport nav screen across thousands of planets. Entry registered. That was all. No voice. No explosion. No demand. Just a sentence, cold, unblinking, and then the red circle pulsed. Once. And the drone vanished. Every trace. Every ping. Gone. Zorik stood frozen at the command console. The star map still blinked. Entry registered. Where's the drone? Keval barked. Gone, the analyst whispered. Not destroyed. Not blocked. Gone. Like it wasn't allowed to exist anymore. Someone muttered, what kind of defense tech can delete across time? The red circle. Pulsed again. The room dimmed. And then a second message arrived. No encryption. No source. Just text. This is not a border. This is a warning. Zorik stared at the words. No threats. No weapons. No fleet. And yet his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Jin whispered the final question out loud. Did we just lose a war we never saw begin? And that was before Earth even responded. The stars never moved in human space. Not because the systems were empty, but because the Terrans made sure no one saw anything that did. High Orbit Command Station ECHO-1 had no windows, only sensors. It didn't need aesthetics. It needed silence. Cold, perfect silence. Commander Kale Drevin stood on the observation deck, not looking out but listening. The room pulsed with signals. None of them loud. None of them there's. He finally spoke. It crossed. Lieutenant Rees nodded beside him. Confirm. Mark IV probe. Cloaked. Empire design. 5 hours ago. Did it touch the marker field? Full entry. 5 seconds into zone red before disappearance. Drevin exhaled. Not relief. Not frustration. More. Like the breath before memory takes over. And the response? He asked. We marked it. Drevin looked up at the wide tactical projection above them. A red circle now blinked in sync across 400 million systems. Using the Empire's own signal ecosystem, he smiled just slightly. They'll feel that. Rees hesitated. Sir, do we escalate? Drevin didn't answer immediately. He walked forward toward the upper bank where the wall of sealed vaults hummed with passive energy. Massive conduits extended into the deep architecture of ECHO-1. Most people believed the station was just a sensor node, but they didn't understand what it was connected to. No, Drevin said. Let them wonder. Another technician on the deck spoke up. Empire is attempting re-entry. 2 scout ships moving toward the Zeta corridor. Cloaked, stealth shielded. Low pulse emissions. They're trying to slip in under pulse sync level. Drevin nodded. And our reply? We already delivered it. The technician gestured toward the wall of monitors. On each one, a blinking glyph had begun appearing on all Empire Scout AI systems. Not malware. Not corruption. A thought, injected into their operating cores via passive waveform response. Glyph translated to one word. Uninvited. The Empire hadn't even figured out how the message was placed. They wouldn't, because it wasn't a hack. It was a mirror, a silent response reflected through their own systems. Their ships weren't reading a signal. They were reading themselves. Let the second scout enter, Drevin ordered. Sir? He turned. They need to know we saw them twice. Outside, miles beneath the command tower, the deep array pulsed to life. Not loudly, not even visibly. But something ancient began turning in the hollow space beneath the core. Rees looked up. Sir, is that the vault? Yes. What's its condition? Still dreaming. A pause. Sir, if they keep pushing, they won't, Drevin said. They just need to see the edge. But what if they don't stop? Drevin looked him dead in the eye. Then we opened the vault. Rees didn't respond. Everyone knew what the patin to do what and when found vault was, and no one had seen it in 70 years. The first time the Empire struck a Terran colony, humanity didn't send a fleet. They sent one. Vault fragment. It erased the attacking fleet from system records, not by destroying ships, but by deleting their signal footprints. Space forgot them. The people who built the vault didn't call it a weapon. They called it a memory test, a test the galaxy kept failing. Another alert lit the board. "Sir," the technician whispered, "Empire Command has rerouted all long-range fleet movement around our sectors. Civilian lanes redrawn. Entire quadrant flagged as off-limits." Reese leaned forward. "They're backing off?" "No official broadcast," the tech said. "But—" "Yes." Drevin finally let his shoulders drop. "Just a little. It's starting." Reese tilted his head. "What is?" "They're remembering. For a long time, humanity had been laughed at, ridiculed, counted as a whisper in the noise of larger civilizations. Too quiet, too fractured, too small. But Earth had one advantage no one could quantify: endurance. While others conquered, Earth observed. While others mocked, Earth listened. While others charted trade and territory, Earth charted patterns. And when Earth vanished from diplomatic maps, it didn't vanish because it was weak. It vanished because it was done speaking. Drevin tapped a command line into the main screen. A map appeared. Human space, bordered, clear. 200 light-years across, and surrounding it, a ring of passively monitored subspace collapsers, silent beacons that could reduce anything crossing the line to unrecoverable signal dust. In under 3 seconds. Reese watched the map. "They'll never try again." "No," Drevin said quietly. "But they'll teach about it. They'll tell their children." "And if one day someone forgets?" Drevin looked at the vault icon blinking low on the screen. "Then we remind them." Another alert pinged. But this time it wasn't a violation. It was a broadcast from the Ricari Enclave, neutral, non-aligned, requesting permission to establish a memorial at the edge of Terran space. A monument. To the ones who had entered and never returned. Drevin approved it. One line attached to the confirmation. Not a threat, not even a warning, just a reminder of why the stars stayed so quiet near Earth. This isn't a border. It's a grave marker. The ship hovered just outside the Terran border. It wasn't a warship. It wasn't even a scout. It was a diplomatic courier from the Cathari Accord, a species known for neutrality, treaties, and long memories. It carried no weapons, no threats, no pride, only a question. Ambassador Sorrel stood at the forward viewport, hands clasped behind his back, his silver robes reflecting the pulsing red perimeter marker on the screen. He didn't speak. Not yet. "Sir," his aide said softly, "we're as close as we're legally permitted." "Any closer," added the pilot, "and we trigger the response field." Sorrel nodded once, maintained position. The stars ahead seemed wrong. Not distorted, not blurred, just too still, like space itself held its breath when you looked toward Earth. "This is where the Varan disappeared," the aide whispered. "This is where many disappeared," Sorrel corrected. "Ships. From dozens of empires, some powerful, some reckless, all curious. None returned. And no war was ever declared." That was the part that unsettled him most. It wasn't retaliation. It was acceptance. As if Earth didn't need to warn you twice. Sorrel tapped the console, pulling up the Council's last statement on human space. It was outdated. Still labeled Earth as technologically inert, politically absent. The last known Terran diplomatic envoy was 93 years ago. They had spoken 7 words. "This is your chance to forget us." The Council laughed. They filed the phrase under cultural melodrama. But then the forgetting began from Earth's side. No trade. No delegates. No requests. Just absence. And then silence turned to shadows. Ships stopped returning. Sensors flickered and failed. Entire patrol routes redrawn to avoid the silence, and the Terran space line became sacred not by treaty, but by terror. "Sir," the pilot said suddenly, "something's happening." Sorrel turned. The red perimeter beacon pulsed twice, then dimmed. Not off. Not gone. Just waiting. The ship's systems registered no energy surge, no weapon lock, no hostile scan, but every member of the Cathari crew froze anyway. I felt that. The aide whispered. Sorrel stepped closer to the screen. Then it appeared. A single Terran ship. Not launch. Not jump. Just there. Silent. Still. It dwarfed their courier by orders of magnitude. Its shape was crude. No elegant curves. No painted flags. It wasn't trying to impress. It was reminding. Is it scanning us? The aide asked. No. Then what's it doing? Sorrel answered without blinking. It's watching. And then a message appeared on their screen. No sound. Just text. You remained outside. You remembered. That is enough. Sorrel felt his knees weaken, because that message wasn't delivered. Across space. It was inside their system in the ship's internal archive, like it had always been there, waiting to be unlocked by behavior. The aide whispered. Sir, are we in danger? No. Sorrel stood tall again. We're being acknowledged. The Terran ship didn't move, didn't flash, didn't threaten. It simply turned slowly and slid back toward the border. No engines ignited. No hyperspace jump. It just faded from sight. A few seconds later, the red perimeter marker pulsed again back to its original rhythm. Calm. Final. Sorrel tapped the console. One last time. He began composing a message to the council. It was short. Precise. And absolute. Human space is not protected by ships. It is protected by memory. He paused, then added one more line. And the galaxy is not ready to forget again. Cowards, snarled General Tharkal of the Vrox Dominion. All of them. Hiding behind stories. He slammed his fist on the war table as tactical officers flinched. Council races. Traitors. Even the Cathari. They've all bent the knee to a ghost. And for what? Because some backwater species knows how to spoof sensors? Silence filled the room. One of his lieutenants, younger and far less confident, tried to speak. Sir, with respect. Even the Empire rerouted its fleets. Tharkal snapped his gaze up, because the Empire has gone soft. They forgot what it means to test power. He stood tall, tusked and furious, armored from shoulder to claw. They think silence means superiority, that disappearing ships is enough to create reverence. No, fear must be earned. He turned toward the holomap of human space. That red circle pulsed there like a mocking eye, unmoving, unchanging. Set coordinates, we're going in. Sir, the Council. I don't report to the Council. He grinned. I'm going to plant the Vrox standard in their sky. Moments later, the Fury of Vengeance launched from orbit with 6 ships and escort. Heavy-class warcruisers, armed to their spikes. Engines flaring. The Vrox were warriors, and they were going to remind the galaxy how to act like one. Tharka stood at the front of the bridge, hands behind his back. As the ships approached Terran space, they passed the first warning beacon. No alarms. No weapons. See, he said, smiling. All myth. The officers forced chuckles. They passed the second. Still no resistance. The red perimeter line drew closer. Then they crossed, and everything changed. The stars went out. Not all of them. Just the ones behind them. The ones that had been there seconds ago. Gone. Erased from visual. From navigation. From memory. The bridge crew froze. Update visuals. Tharkal ordered. Attempting. Rerouting telemetry. Sir, we're not where we were. Explain. I don't know, the tech whispered. We crossed the boundary, and the stars behind us are gone, like they were never there. No attack? No, sir, but we can't even find our own trail. It's like we didn't cross anything. It's like we've always been here. On the central screen, something flickered. Then something appeared. Not a fleet. Just a shadow dot, no shape dot, no form dot, just the impression of mass so massive it couldn't be understood. Sensors. Collapsed dot, data loops spun into garbage dot, one of the officers threw up dot, another dropped to his knees. Tharkal shouted, "Raise shields." No response. Power weapons. Nothing, he turned saw. His comms officer staring at her hands. They were aging, seconds passing, but her hands were wrinkling, flesh shriveling. She opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came. She vanished not in light, not in fire just unmade dot, and in her place, her console now displayed a single phrase. You crossed. The lights dimmed. Tharkal reached for his sidearm, not to fight, just to hold something. He opened a channel. This is General Tharkal of the VROXX Dominion. I crossed into your space under my authority. I demand you respond. Silence. Then the ship systems rebooted, but not all the way. Only one screen remained dotted, showed his fleet, or what was left. 2 of the ships had already gone dark. The other 3 were firing at nothing. He opened comms with them. No response. Just static dot, and then a second message appeared. You were not challenged. You were ignored. Tharkal collapsed into his command seat. Ignored. Not even seen as a threat. Not even noticed. Outside, something began to move. Slow. Inevitable. The darkness unfolded like a door opening in deep space. And behind it, nothing. Not death. Not hell. Just a kind of forgetting. One of his crew whispered, "Sir, I think it's not going to kill us." Tharkal turned. What? I think it's going to erase us. And then the final message arrived across. Every ship, every console, every nerve-linked interface. You entered what was never yours. Now even memory will deny you. The stars flickered once, and Tharkal's fleet was gone. Not destroyed. Just gone. No. Data. No sensor ghost. No log trail. The Vrox High Command searched for them for days. Then weeks. Then stopped searching altogether because something worse than death had occurred. Tharkal's entire mission, his fleet, his defiance, his existence had been edited out of the stars. And just outside Terran space, the red perimeter line pulsed once more. Steady. Still. Unmoved. Unbroken. Above it, a new message now flickered for all species to see. No species enters human space. And now, you know why.